What's up, y'all? And welcome back. Welcome back. We are here for the finale. And I had to bring the whole team who had actually helped to make this show what it is. Finalize. And coaches, first I want to say congratulations to the Lakers. They put in the work and they conquered. We can start with Coach Cooke and work our way on down. But briefly, how did you guys view Game 6? For me, it seemed that Miami pretty much ran out of gas. They gave everything they could, and Lakers was just too much. So, Coach Cooke, how did you see that Game 6?
To me, that's how it was supposed to go down, a dominant performance. That's how I looked at it. I mean, I could see it any other way. If they were going to win, that's how they had to win it. Dominant performance.
Coach Breslaw.
I think they beat up Jimmy Butler in Game 5, and I don't think anybody can blame him. But from the elbow he took to the head to when he fell to when just all that, and then like you guys said, they were just worn down. Shots weren't falling, and I mean the Lakers are just built for it.
Agreed. Coach Cannon.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the same thing. I mean, I felt like with Anthony Davis and LeBron lived in the paint a whole lot more in Game 6 than the rest of the series. And once LeBron got in his mind that he was going to finish everything at the rim, and AD was doing both, and then you got a guy like Rondo that was like 8 for 9 or 9 for 10 or something like that from the field. Yeah. I mean, it's a perfect storm to get a running clock put on your head in that final. So, I think Miami gave out of gas too, but I don't think if they was at full strength, they still could have withstood that storm they saw last night.
Good point. Coach James.
Echo everybody's sentiment about certainly Miami being tremendously tired and exhausted with some residual fatigue is what it looked like to me from Game 5. I think it's interesting, and I'm sure we'll get into it, the rotation, because previous coach spoke about Miami being at full strength, and I'm interested to hear what the coaches think about Spoelstra's decision to not play a few more of his players deeper into his rotation. But I mean, pretty much what I expected. We talked about it before, and I wasn't surprised.
Coach Doles.
Yo. Hey, both coaches was playing chess, man. There was no checkers being played during this series.
Yeah.
You had Miami that came out, coach. They did awesome adjustment that they made when they had the picks. They had the top with the guards at the top, and they had LA just confused the games that they beat them. Just had them confused about the new sets that they brought in, and that's a hell of a job by Coach Spoelstra down there by making that adjustment at the end of the season. And that's just tells me that's a sign of a great coach that's willing to go back and make those adjustments. And then coming back on the LA side, Braun and them came back and started the white guy. What's his name? The bald head guy last night instead of Howard. Right, instead of Howard. So with that in mind, they running and gunning now. You don't have to worry about Howard. Everybody's getting up and down the floor. Everybody can finish at the basket. Everybody can shoot. So they made the adjustments the last game. And just put them boys to sleep. There's something they should have done this on Game 5. They just put them to sleep, man. It was over from the tip. And my guy Rondo doing his thing, one of my all-time favorite PGs, always said it all my life.
Yeah.
He's a bad man. He just came in there and just kept the storm warm when the second team came in. When he came in, it was not a drop. And they just kept on pushing and putting their foot on their throat, man. And then Jimmy was just done. He did all he could Game 5, man. He just needed, if I like Coach said, I don't care if they was full strength. There's no way in the world they were going to beat the Lakers last night. It was a wrap.
Agreed. And definitely shout out to both coaches, man, because I don't feel like anyone could leave this series saying that both coaches wasn't great. They both were great, you know, using what they had. LeBron James, King James, however we want to call him, right? Walked away with the MVP. Can anybody question that it should have been AD?
Nah.
Not really. Nah.
Negative.
I don't know. Coach Breslaw, he kind of thinking.
Hey, we're gonna leave him out there. Go ahead, Coach. Coach. Look, I'm gonna sit back on this one.
Got him in points, rebounds, and assists. The only thing he lost out to him was blocks, really. I mean, and yeah, ball's in his hand most of the time. Yeah. That's a tough argument to say he should have been AD. Got a better field goal percentage. I mean, you look at the stats, it's a wrap.
Yeah. Yeah, so looking forward, coaches. Next season, right? You got Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving returning to the Nets, right? Let's just say this same LA team reaches the finals next year. And I mean, my guess would be if the Nets are at full strength, it would be the Nets they'll be seeing. If Miami probably don't make adjustments, or even if they does, I mean, Kyrie, KD, nobody's gonna argue that. So let's hypothetically, Nets and this Lakers team we just saw, Coach Cooke, who's getting that done? Who gonna walk out on top?
Depends on, to me, with who the Nets have as a surrounding cast. I can see AD and KD being a good matchup.
Same way the teams are. Same way the teams are, but just adding KD and Kyrie with this same Lakers team. Who you going with?
That's going to be a tough matchup. I mean, they don't have nobody really on the Lakers team that can stick with Kyrie. But they don't have nobody on this team that can stick with LeBron either. And AD.
So
I see the Lakers pulling that out.
So I didn't hear you say the Lakers have no answer for KD. I didn't hear you say that.
Well, I think KD, that's gonna be hard. Oh man, that's gonna be a heck of a matchup. That would definitely must be CTV. I mean, I can see them trying to put AD on KD for a little bit and see what happens. Yeah. Because he's long enough. Both of them almost kind of mirror each other. I know it's probably people not going to agree with it. Both of them kind of mirror each other as far as height, size, and what they do. But KD just do it better than AD. But, I mean, the deciding factor would be Kyrie and LeBron. Who going to impose their will? Like we were talking about a couple of days ago. And I can see LeBron probably imposing his will on that team, especially with AD behind him. I think it'll be more leaning toward. I would lean more towards the Lakers.
Okay, Coach Breslaw.
Who's the Nets coach?
Kyrie said they don't need a coach, so
right.
Kyrie the coach. We're talking to 5 coaches here. With who's a proven coach.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that makes sense too.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about that.
So you gonna pass on that one, Coach?
What's that?
You gonna pass on that one? You can't call that one?
Nah, that's all Lakers.
All Lakers?
He said all Lakers.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's ain't with Steve. I mean, can Steve Nash prove something first? Right?
Right.
I mean, it was even questionable that he got the job.
All right, Coach Cannon.
Yeah, I would agree. The first thing I was thinking about was the coaching aspect. If Vogel was already a good coach when he was in Indiana, he comes out here and wins a chip with LA. You got, the best player in the world on your team already. You got AD on your team already. They just won it this year. So I just think with the chemistry, the coaching advantage, and I think the matchups of AD and LeBron are harder to hold than, to me, Kyrie is a phenomenal player, but I think he's just so fragile mentally. And I think KD can be the same way at times. And if you got those two guys kind of intertwined with each other, and I think Spencer Dinwiddie, I think he's a phenomenal player too. And you start looking at these guys wanting to have a bigger role, and I just think there's a lot of egos and stuff that would have to click for Brooklyn that I just don't see happening with Steve Nash being the guy that has to pull all that together in the first year. So I think they down the road they can make a push, but if the Lakers stay the exact same health and everything, I don't see Brooklyn being the team that could beat them.
Coach James.
Yeah, I'm answering this question only because you drew it up. I don't even see Brooklyn making it to the finals. I don't see them making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't care who you put as I don't care who you put as the coach.
Quick question.
But
if you don't see Brooklyn coming out the East at full strength, who would?
Prior to them, I would definitely go Boston, Philly, Milwaukee. I would go with all those teams, Miami, all those teams before I look at Brooklyn. And I don't care who the coach is that you put on Brooklyn's team. But to answer your question, I'm going Lakers. Lakers in 5 if that was to happen.
Coach Doles.
Hey, I agree with everything Coach James just said.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be a fun team to watch because they're going to get up and down the floor. They're going to fill the seats up. Everywhere they go, it's going to be a lot of people. But then again, those two egos, how's that going to mesh? It's all gravy because both of them sitting on the sideline talking about the team that's out there on the floor now. But when game time comes, we know KD's supposed to have the ball in his hand. He ain't going to have the ball in his hand because Kyrie not going to give it up. I don't even have him being there. I'm with Coach James. I don't have him being there for real.
Wow. A lot of questions with surrounding that Nets team, I see. Moving forward, the next, once LeBron finally moves on, right? Do you guys do you see the next guy that's going to run the league? Do you see, is that guy in the league today? And if so, who comes to mind? Like, who's that next guy just going to run everything? Coach Cooke.
Oh man, that's going. With some of these guys that we've been watching getting long in the tooth now. So I can see my guy from Milwaukee. I can't pronounce his name. Giannis. He's probably the youngest that I can see leading the NBA. Kyrie, like coach from Carolina, so he just mentally soft. He's a good player, but he kind of soft, and I don't think he able to be able to put the NBA on his shoulder. And we still got AD that's still there. That's that looks good, being able to handle it.
Yeah.
Those three stick out to me right now, especially Giannis from Milwaukee. I know I'm probably tearing his name off, but I can see him doing something. I like the way he played. He tough. I like when Coach was saying about Brooklyn coming out. I couldn't even, the question was posed, but I couldn't see actually Brooklyn getting past Milwaukee, in my opinion. But as far as that, I think Giannis probably be my top pick to be like the face of the NBA for right now. Once LeBron leave.
Okay. And that's Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Giannis, yeah, there we go.
Yeah. I hope I'm saying it all the way right. But, Coach Breslaw, do you see that player, that next superstar that can run up them final visits the way LeBron did? Who's that next guy, if you see that guy in the league today?
First of all, we're talking like LeBron's on his last leg or something, and I feel like he's got, he's a machine. I couldn't even predict what year he's gonna bow out. I mean, he could probably go as long. I mean, if he's built, I feel like Vince Carter or like, Andre Iguodala. Like if he wants to go the distance, he can go the distance. And then, maybe we can start the conversation where we start to see, him fall off a little bit. But yeah, I mean, as far as a guy, I don't think anybody's going to win championships like LeBron either that we can see in the NBA right now. I like Antetokounmpo. I think he's kind of that same has the same kind of leadership qualities and talent. But I mean, I don't know. That's LeBron. I don't really see it like that.
Yeah, LeBron is special, man. Yeah, if you're comparing him to Jordan, like unfairly, everybody kind of have to compare greatness to greatness. I mean, LeBron he's that special for sure. Coach Cannon, once LeBron is all done, whenever that is, do you believe the next guy to take over is still in the league? Is in the league today?
He better be if the NBA want to keep it like it is. I think the next person that's going to kind of run those chips up will be Steph. But they come back at full strength again. You got him, Clay, Draymond, plus they got the number 2 pick. Like they set up to, and Wiggins, like they set up to be a finals contender for a good little minute. But if you're looking for like one specific guy that could be like a dominant force, I think the person that showed me the most was Luka. I really liked how he in year 2, and I mean, he making it look super easy down there in Dallas, man. A couple of more tough pieces around him. I think if you put like a Montrezl Harrell or some of them guys to keep them boys off of him, I mean, I think that boy could go and do some serious work, and he's a a crazy matchup problem. I like him. Of course, I like Giannis too, but I think Giannis's limitations is, I mean, until he can knock down that jumper consistently, when teams really want to make it hard for him, they can just pack it in on him, and it's kind of hard for him to be effective outside of being in transition. But with Luka, it really wasn't no stop for that kid in that playoffs. He just didn't have enough around him to get past him. But I think my money would be on Luka at this point.
That's a good one. Coach James. James, who you got, Coach James?
I would. My thoughts were initially I was thinking Kawhi, but Kawhi is a little long. He's not long in the tooth, but if we're talking about when LeBron, as you say, bows out, that could be 3 years, 4 years from now, and even players like Steph will be at different stages in their career. So I actually think, to answer the question about who has the opportunity to make to build a dynasty, like a title run, I think Golden State probably, the way they're built, is probably built to do so. But in terms of taking over the league, face of the league, especially if he leaves the market that he's currently in and goes to another market, I agree with the previous coach. Luka Doncic, being the youngest by far of the bunch, probably has the capacity to do that. What is he, like 20?
Yeah, if that.
So he'll be 20. He'll be in his athletic prime 4 or 5 years from now. There's really no reason why that shouldn't happen. So
yeah, great point, Coach Doles.
Yeah, I think this is going to be really the first time that KD would be able to just explode and just go off. Personally, so I'm gonna stick with KD first, and then I'm gonna go with Luka. KD has a lot to prove. He's coming off an injury. He's in that New York market now, and I just think that he has a lot to prove. So I'm thinking KD. I'm gonna go with KD first, then Luka.
That's a great one. KD does have a lot to prove. The titles he have, I think we would all agree is pretty questionable to some degree. Now it was said, there was a coach that was on the show a few episodes back, and it was said to me that you take LeBron off this Laker team, and they're the Pelicans. Agree or disagree, Coach Cooke?
Agree, man. He make a big difference, man. He does. I agree with that.
Coach
I
Brad,
say they be average at best.
man, that's tough. I thought that was a low blow right there. Coach Breslaw.
I think when you have a guy like LeBron, it just gives so much confidence to the rest of the team that they play completely different. I mean, you see with any team, just one guy that can lead you, and now you know he can help make careers. Like I have full respect for Caruso and some of those role players on the Lakers, but I think it's kind of the luck of the draw sometimes. And if you don't fall in with the right leader and the right coach, like you might be playing somewhere else, like as far as in another league.
Yeah, great point, Coach. Coach Cannon, agree?
They might be worse than the Pelicans if you look at it. If you got Caruso, Danny Green, Anthony Davis, and Dwight Howard, I mean, it'll be hard for you to even make the Western Conference playoffs with that. At least with the Pelicans, if you're looking at the Zion, JJ Redick, Brandon Ingram, you know, that's probably more firepower than what the Lakers got without LeBron being on the floor. LeBron just allows everybody to specialize their talents. So Danny Green just has to shoot. You take LeBron off, and then he's got to be a playmaker and do all this. The team's just not built for that. And, I mean, like somebody just said, he makes careers. I mean, you look at guys like Boobie Gibson and Dellavedova, like these guys were contributing in the finals with LeBron, and they go to their own separate teams. And Boobie Gibson was out the league, and Dellavedova is probably on his way out the league. So, I mean, those guys like LeBron, they just transitional talents. And I mean, you name any guys that's on that same level. If you take Isaiah Thomas off the Pistons, Magic off the Lakers, like everybody looks a little different without that type of talent around them.
Great one, Coach. Coach James.
I want to be a little more respectful of, while respecting LeBron's impact, not be too disrespectful to the Pelicans. I will say not this iteration of the Pelicans. Maybe the one that had Rondo and Anthony Davis on that team. I would say yes to that. You know. So I'll leave it at that.
Gotcha. Doles.
Hey, like both coaches said, hey, big career savers, and it is what it is. Look at JR. He was sitting at the home chilling. Your man went back and got him. You know, and like they said, every team that he's been on, he's always brought back somebody from Cleveland that he balled with in Cleveland, that he became friends with. So he gets the organization to say, hey, I need my man on the squad. And then they bring him along. And so, yeah, just basically what everybody else said. There's no need for me to, you know, waste time talking about that. That's a fact. What everybody else said. Facts.
Now, Danny Green, three different franchise. Did he play? He really contribute to titles in each. Where is Danny Green once his career is over? Is he a Hall of Famer, Coach Cooke?
Nah, no way. He was a role player. Nah.
But he played his role in every
played his role well. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Into this last one,
he yeah. But he probably the second coming of Robert Horry.
Yep.
You know, but Robert Horry was better than he is. But he the second coming of Robert Horry. You know, Robert Horry would have hit that shot. in that last game. He would have hit that shot. But he's the second coming to me of Robert Horry.
Well, I think Danny Green made more big shots in big games than ones he missed. Would you agree with that, Coach Cooke?
Yeah. But, I mean, to me, I still put him in that mode of the Robert Horry. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, Robert Horry, he was with L.A., correct? Championship. He was with.
You giving him a lot of credit, coach. You put him in Robert Horry category. You giving him a lot of credit.
I said, I'm just saying second coming of Robert Horry. That's what I'm saying. Robert Horry was better, but I'm just saying the second coming of Robert Horry. He wasn't Robert Horry, just the second coming. Like you could see almost like he was Robert Horry. But I mean, he played his role. I'll give him credit for that. I mean, he played his role.
Coach Breslaw.
I think he's more like a John Paxson or a Steve Kerr, a BJ Armstrong. Yeah. And those guys aren't. Well, Steve Kerr might go to the Hall of Fame, but not because of his role playing. I think Robert Horry's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think so.
So if he plays his role, what does he have to do? Play with a couple more different teams and do the same thing? What does he have to do to get in there?
Bribe some people.
So I take that everybody agrees that Danny's not in there.
Unless he lead his own team to a championship.
Well, we know that's not going to happen. So
right. So
well, if there's like moving forward with Miami, right? It's clear to me that there may be a player or two away from really being a force. And they're pretty young. They're a fairly young team. Who would be that player that you feel like Miami is missing that can get them over the hump to where they're contenders, for many years to come? Let's go with Coach Doles.
That's a great question, man. Woo. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna say Braun on that.
LeBron?
Can you hear me? I gotta say LeBron, man. Who else is out there? All right, okay. Let's take it back. If they had KD, I'm going with them. I'm going with Miami. KD, I'm going with Miami. They had Luka, I'm going with Miami.
Fair.
Other than that, I don't see anybody else that's going to be able to give Butler the relief that he needs. Butler needs a Robin right now, and there's no other player out there besides those two right there that I'd be like, okay, yeah, they're going to win it because they're going to take the pressure off of Butler. Butler handled that ball a lot after they changed that offensive scheme. He became the point. He point forward, point everything, point shooter, everything for that team. He just needed a little bit of help, and he didn't have that second man that's like him to get them over the top. Like you said, the other guys are just young. They're young. So he's grooming them to be where they need to be, but they're young.
Fair. Coach James, who's that missing piece to Miami?
A lot of folks think this guy is long in the tooth, but I think the way he's preserved his body and maintained himself has been kind of undersold as well. Chris Paul. I actually think Chris Paul on that Miami team would take them over the hump. I'm not sure if it's enough to beat the Lakers, but definitely gives them a much better shot. Much better shot.
That's that dog. Yeah, he's a dog.
Coach Cannon.
Yeah, I just actually looked at like the free agents for this upcoming for right now, and people like tradable pieces. Like Chris Paul is I definitely think they need a point guard that can facilitate. Considering you have Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson, who are specialty guys, and take pressure off of Jimmy Butler. But I also think they need to add depth to the inside to Kelly Olynyk. That just ain't it. But Rudy Gobert is a free agent. If Giannis becomes a movable piece, I'd like to see Giannis move down there. I think if you add Chris Paul on a friendly contract with any of those kind of pieces, I think that puts them over the top. I mean, they was able to steal 2 games with the roster they got right now. And you would like to think that the young guys continue to just get better, but Bam and Butler can't play the amount of minutes that they're playing right now because you saw last night, Bam was rebounding the ball, bringing it up the floor, setting the offense. Like, that team ain't going to work like that. So I think if you add some depth and they can get more transition buckets with a true big man like Rudy Gobert or somebody like that, where they could basically send less guys to the glass and then get out and run. I think you could get over the top. Or bring in somebody, some vets, like you said, Chris Paul, or DeMarcus Cousins type guy, somebody like that to just add depth and then bring in the other pieces you need. But I would say Giannis or Rudy Gobert.
Fair. Coach Breslaw.
I also was looking at the free agents. I didn't think they had too much problems with at the point guard spot necessarily. I thought their chemistry was good, and I thought their efficiency was good. I didn't think that they had, and I mean, if we're talking about them beating the Lakers, then I think they need more size. I didn't think that their center Bam was. I think he needs a couple more years, and I think they need more guys like that. So I was looking at like maybe like Serge Ibaka, or like there was one more that just a big guy that can like kind of bang and then also stretch the floor. There was Hassan Whiteside. I think a guy like that can at least cover the Lakers big guys, and I felt like they were getting pushed around.
Yeah.
I didn't think the guard issue was as much of an issue. And then those guys are getting old. Those guys are going to grow too, those guards, and they're going to get bigger.
For sure. Coach Cooke.
Yeah, if I was I definitely like Giannis down there. And like the coach said previously, Luka, somebody that can get buckets. I think I would like to see both of them, if it was possible, both of them down there. That'd be a good, tough team, adding those two pieces. Especially if you get inside and outside presence. I still like the old school type of basketball, post players, but and outside shooters. That'll give Jimmy a whole lot of relief.
Jimmy needs
that looked like Philly when he was in Philly.
And then, that three-headed monster right there would be tough to stop. I would think it would be.
Agreed.
If they can possibly get that.
Agreed. So real quick, coaches, prediction. Will the Lakers repeat? Coach Cooke, we running it back to you.
Have to see how the offseason go. Like right now, I would say yeah, and then have to see how the offseason go. Offseason go in their favor, then definitely. But like we were saying, if proposed players going to other teams, like especially going to Heat, it'll be some challenges along the way.
Okay. Coach Breslaw, Lakers repeat.
Free agency market's kind of crazy. Caldwell Pope's a free agent. I thought he unbelievable for them. He really surprised me. I think I don't know too many years where the champion wasn't a favorite. So I don't see why this would be really any different. So I think as of now they are, even though in the season, like in like a couple weeks. When's the next season start? Right?
last I got was the top of January.
And are they gonna have a bubble for a whole year now? We still gonna get another bubble?
I'm not sure about the bubble, but it's projected.
I'm not sure about the season.
Yeah, Coach Cannon, repeat. What you got? Yes or no? Lakers repeat.
I'm gonna say no. I just really feel like Golden State is, once they get back together, and I don't think they're going to keep that draft pick. I think they're going to add another veteran. They got enough to add another max player to what they already have. If they're able to add another max player plus bringing all those guys back healthy, I don't think the Lakers will beat that team.
Right. Coach Doles, repeat.
I want to say yes, but nobody's speaking about the Clippers. I know they just got coach fired. You still got a couple of dogs down there, man. So I want to say yes, but Clippers gonna be close. It's gonna be Lakers Clippers. I think that's how it's gonna pan out.
All right, Coach James, who you got? What you got? You got the Lakers doing it again?
I give the Lakers a slight edge over Golden State with a caveat. If they're able to, because Rajon Rondo usually at some point. We love him to death, but he tends to wear out his welcome wherever he goes, usually at some particular point. So provided that does not transpire, or they don't get Avery Bradley, or they get Avery Bradley, or they don't get Avery Bradley back. One of those two things. If they get Avery Bradley back, I think they're fine. If they lose Avery Bradley and Rajon Rondo is kind of in the same element because he's won out his welcome, I'd say it'd be very hard. But I give him a slight edge if those things are in play. 60%, 60-40 over Golden State or in the Western Conference Finals.
All right. It's the finale. It's finalized. Coaches, appreciate you guys again.